tonight's daily experience again. I will just sum up my last few days. This was a time when I really couldn't spend long time with Jesus just on my own, and it was pretty tough. Um, and I wouldn't do it again. Like, it's not a thing I will make a custom of. Only at night I could stay up a bit to sit in silence before the Lord, and yeah, it was amazing. But my thoughts were really wandering away because throughout the day I couldn't really pay attention to Him. I traveled, and I could really I was really resting on in the Lord while traveling. Like, I was kind of asleep, but a part of my brain was talking to God and sensing Him and enjoying Him. But most of my brain was just asleep. So it's quite hard to explain that state of mind. I can't always have it, but it's really good when I'm in worshiping mode, and then I fall asleep from that. And every time I wake up for a few seconds, I connect with worship again. So it was amazing. I could do that a few times. Anytime I traveled, I used this time to worship or to rest in Him. And sometimes throughout the day, Jesus just reminded me of Himself. Like, once I felt like the sun was really shining into my eyes, and I was like, okay, I should stop for a while and just enjoy that He's watching me and I can watch Him. And I had a moment with God. And at nights I was mostly sitting in silence, just trying to clear my mind from all the thoughts. And sometimes I could get to the point when I was completely clear and God could have His way in me. I journal, not everything, but most of the things God is telling me. It's a really good thing when I can write it down, because most of the time I can't even put into words what He's communicating to me. So it's a thing when I can write it down. Yeah, so I had a little bit of silent time with Jesus at night, but it wasn't that long. So after a while I fall asleep, and yeah, sometimes I was just watching videos the Lord showed me I should watch, and He was talking to these things to me. Yeah, it was really good. And these night times, but throughout the day I couldn't really soak Him in. Like, I couldn't really be drenched into Him and baptized in Him, I felt like I should say hello to Him. Like, we just say hello, how are you doing? And then I leave Him. And I realized that I need that time when I just take Him, when He infuses me with Himself. So early in the morning, when I woke up, I tried not to open my eyes so that the others wouldn't realize that I'm awake and wouldn't talk to me. And I tried to start my day with Him, but it went really really awkward. Like, I could just spend a few minutes before they realized that I was awake. So the only time left for me to spend with God was the night. And he was really faithful, and he reminded me of himself over and over again. And I had amazing conversations full of revelation, full of his spirit. And some of these conversations were almost as good as like sitting in silence before the Lord. It's like really full of the spirit. But I realized that I needed time every day to be drenched, like not saying hello, not just saying how are you, Jesus. It's talking and storytelling and laughing together. That's what I need. And the sad tendency in these days was that even though we somehow experienced each other, I became less and less aware of him. Like, he's always close, he's always one with me. Like, I couldn't be any closer to him. But there is an illusion of separation that's getting more and more real if I don't enjoy that union. And it was like after a few days, I didn't even long for him that much. I didn't even desire him that much. I was kind of okay with that situation. And I was so mad at myself. Like, Jesus, don't leave me at this place. I don't want to get used to not enjoying you and not desiring you. And I was just sometimes just crying out to him, like, don't leave me there. I don't want to have a lifestyle that is kind of okay without you. And of course, it wasn't without him, but it wasn't that hours of commuting with him. And there's such a difference between saying hello to him and being aware of him every now and then, and being baptized, continuously baptized into him. And the lesson from these days is that I shouldn't do that again. Like, it's everyone's it's for everyone's good if I spend 3 hours a day with Jesus. Like, it's way much better for you to bear with Evie when she's over her few hours of soaking. So I was, after a while, after a few days of like not really having that much time with Jesus, besides not having desire for Jesus, I could sense that my pants are not as comfy. The colors are not as bright. The people are more unbearable. Like, I am nervous. Why am I nervous? Like, what's wrong with me? And I realized that he is the life. Capital L. The life. And if I'm not enjoying him and being aware of his person and my union with him, I don't have life. Just so simple. I don't have a sense of life. I don't have a desire for life. I don't have a joy of life. Everything I do and say and act becomes more and more lifeless. And I realize that I can't afford not to be baptized into him, like, continually. Because if I try to do so, not being drenched into him, like live life like that, I will be okay. I will be blessed. God's gonna be near me. He's gonna remind me of himself, and he's gonna bless me. Everything's gonna be fine. The only thing that's gonna be bad is my subjective experience of life and of him. And that's what I deprive myself from if I don't create a space for him to I don't know what, show himself, or change my mind in uh, to consciousness of him. I don't know what happens in that state, because I do believe that we have everything, like we are in union with him, but something happens, our mind shifts into an awareness of him, and that's what we desperately need, at least me. Like, I can't function without taking, without preparing the way for the king in my life. And preparing a way can sometimes mean that, okay, 3 hours you can't talk to me because I'm gonna be with Jesus, and I need that. And let me tell you, you also need that. You also need that I take that time, because anyway, I'm not sure that I would be as kind to you. Yeah. So I think, even though it was really good to experience that he's holding me, he doesn't let me go, he's just always there to remind me of himself, I got to the conclusion that, okay, if I need time to be baptized into him again, I should take that time. And I shouldn't be okay with switching to survival mode. Yeah, so that was the lesson. God bless you guys.